We have discussed the 5 steps of the writing process. By breaking down writing into these 5 steps, writing becomes much more manageable. Writing is all about getting strong ideas and conveying them with strong words, but the writer's process, the 5 stages of the writing process, they're kind of like the gym that help you build those strong ideas muscles and then help you to build those strong words muscles to help you create that strong writing. Now, everything we've been discussing so far has been building those muscles in the pre-write, where you're getting ideas and organizing those ideas. Now, it's not to say that later in the process more organization won't happen. It's almost guaranteed to happen. But the idea that seems to be the most functional for people is to start with ideas, plan them, grow them, develop them, and then move into your draft. And then from there, you can go back and change ideas, but your draft will be much better supported if you've already spent the time before invested in sorting out the ideas. Because if you've already got a lot of ideas that are like spilling out of you, you're less likely to experience writer's block once you actually get writing the draft. 2 big pieces of advice for writing the draft. One almost sounds too simple. Just write. Just write and get that draft finished. You're going to have time later, when revising the next phase of the writer's process. During that phase, you can go back, change things, tidy things up, improve things, whatever. During the draft, this is just you telling yourself the story for the first time. And you're taking that plan and seeing if, once you move it from ideas into words, does it actually look the way that you think it will or not? And if it doesn't, that's fine. That's part of the job of writing a draft. So first tip is just write. Don't get the paralysis by analysis. Don't worry that everything's not perfect. Rarely is it. Maybe 1 in 100 times when you sit down will you actually write something and bang out a draft that you're really happy with. Drafts are just there for you to tell yourself the story for the first time. All the changes come later when revising, when editing, and even when getting ready to publish. Second piece of advice, show, don't tell. This is a very old piece of writing advice. What do we mean by show, don't tell? Well, telling is just being explicit and telling your reader something directly. The character was sad. She was sad. He was happy. That's telling. You are telling your audience what's happening. Yes, you can use that every now and then. But what gets us more invested in a book is when the author is showing. How do we show that a character is sad? Well, rather than saying they are sad, we show you that they're sad. The character hung their head between their arms as tears rolled down their face. They were sobbing uncontrollably. Do I need to tell you they're sad? No. You know from that description. You know from me showing you those things that that person is sad. There are other writing instructors out there who can give you more in-depth knowledge into what showing and telling is and how to effectively do it. My advice, though, is just try to show more than you are telling. One small piece of advice, though, it is easy to do way too much showing, to do way too much description. How will you know when it's too much? There's no perfect answer, but it's a bit of a Goldilocks situation. You don't want too little showing, i.e. you don't want to just be telling your reader everything. And you also don't want too much showing where you are spending so much time going into so much detail about every little thing that's in the story. The only advice that people seem to find the most useful is just feel the speed at which you are showing. If your showing is slowing you and your reader down and taking away from the power of those story cycles, if it's taking away from the power of those 5 sections, if it's taking away from your reader caring or even understanding who your character is, what it is that they want, why they can't have it, what they're doing about it, and what changes because of what they do, if it's damaging any of those things, it's probably too much. It's not a perfect answer, but this is one of those fun parts of writing that you just get the hang of the more that you do it. Drafting. Just write And second of all, as you are drafting, work on showing, not telling. You'll have revising to improve the next phase of the writing process, the revising to improve everything. You'll do that then. Your job now for drafting, just get that rough draft written.